Sure.
Oh, me? Okay. Over 1 billion people have died. Well over video game servers. There it is. Video games have been around for a while. They're being played by people of all ages. Matter of fact, I've been playing video games for the past 16 years. Hi, I'm DeShawn Green. Today I come to tell you about violent video games. I'm going to tell you about how it began, its media relevance, and what it does to people. First, let's begin. How videos came about. They've been over here, on this planet for the last 65 years. And in 1976, a controversial video came out called Death Race, as you see on the board. The point of this game was to run over gremlins while you get to the finish line. But these gremlins look like human beings. And parents was not going for that. Violent video games reached its popularity point with the release of Mortal Kombat in 1992 with its fatality system. At the end of the match, you get to gruesomely rip your opponent apart, or any other way you can kill your opponent. But after this, they released the ESRB system, which is the rating system for video games, for E for everyone to M for maturity. Now that being stated, the most controversial violent video game now is Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto, which is a sandbox game where you can do just about anything from killing cops to having intimate relationships with hookers. Now that being said, let's move on to how the media sees violent video games. Critics would say violent video games are the cause of teen violence. Around 2006, the Virginia Tech incident, critics like attorney anti-game activist Jack Thomas appeared on Fox News and blamed the tragedy on violent video games, which was Grand Theft Auto, which he chose his violent video game of choice. Other high-profile figures such as television host Dr. Phil McGraw and ex-Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney argued that video games were to blame for the shooting. But after the fact, they found out this boy didn't even play video games. There's a book called Grand Theft Childhood, and the author, Lawrence Kutter, states that kids who do not play video games are higher risk of doing tragedies like this because video games give you an unrealistic escape from life. Now that you've seen the media, see how the media sees video games, let's move on to what they do to people. Studies. There have been studies that video games give you aggression. These feelings of aggressions after playing video games are most likely linked to the gameplay mechanics rather than the video content itself. Stated by Dr. Andrew Frizzabekis, I don't know his name really, and from Oxford Internet Institute. The study lets the players are put into a room and they play a modified version of the game Half-Life 2, a critically acclaimed but graphic shooting title. They put this version against the original version with more violence in it. The research found that the players who had no tutorial with the game felt more competent and more aggressive rather than the people who didn't have the tutorial. Given the fact that the video game, you don't learn that the video game, before you play it, you get more aggressive with the video game. Even though the other players felt aggression with the violent video game, it was more likely that the players that didn't have the works of the video game felt more aggression. In conclusion, I told you about violent video games. I told you how they began, the media relevance, and what they do to people. And don't worry, nobody was harmed during the making of this speech, but it was 1 billion game overs.